Hi everyone, this is going to be a pick a pile as an example of a soul direction multi-dimensional reading with healing. This is a new offering that's been on my website for a couple of months now. I've done quite a few of them and they have proven to be very deep and meaningful and helpful to people who just need that direction in regards to what they're moving into. Um, I feel like with what I've done in the past with people, it's all about tying up those loose ends in 2025. And what the reading does, it shows you what you're learning. We use the past life deck, so we understand where you're learning from in regards to your soul. Then we look at your purpose and what you're moving into with the angel deck, the Archangel Metatron deck, who's one of my guides that I work with very slowly, and the Sacred Woundings deck. So what it does is it lets you know what shifts you have gone through or are going through. And then finally, we finish off with the tarot for validation of everything. So I thought it would be fun to let you choose pile one, pile two, or pile three. And I've shuffled the decks already, and I've told Spirit that I'm just going to lift one card from each pile. Um, so I don't need to shuffle the decks again. So just you think of a number one, two, or three, and whatever number that is, that will be your reading. Okay. So pile one, this is your reading. Okay. So first of all, I want to look into the past lives that you're working with at the minute in this lifetime in this year 2025. Okay. Forgiveness. So this is a lifetime where you've had to learn to forgive, pile one. So let's go a wee bit further into that. And let's ask Archangel Metatron what it is that you're moving through. Codependency. So that's the key to freedom. Okay. So for you, pile one, I feel like what they're giving me is on an ancestral line. I feel like there has been a lot of, how can I put it, generational wealth. If it's not wealth, it's abundance. There's been a lot of abundance, and instead of feeling that you have to work for that abundance yourself, there is a feeling of entitlement. And I don't mean that in a judgy kind of way. It's just when someone is coming from that perspective, it's just something that they have been brought forward in this lifetime to heal. And sometimes what we need to do with that is forgive ourselves for actually feeling that way in the first place. Let's see what the Sacred Woundings tells us. Fear of change. So they're asking me to pick another one with that as well. And solar plexus. So solar plexus is all about your power center. It's the chakra that's just above your belly button here, and it will show up as your self-esteem. And it tells me that if you're working through a blockage in your solar plexus, it tells me that you have been perhaps living in a mindset of lack and limitation. And so instead of actually trying to give the abundance and everything to yourself, what you do is you perhaps accept it from others, and instead of working through what the lesson is in this lifetime, and that is self-empowerment. So Spirit, could I have please validation of the messages that have come through for my pile one? So this card, fear of change. So this is feeling quite anxious about it as well. And I feel like the fear also is maybe not addressing it. So perhaps a bit of bypassing going on here as well. So let's just see what they give us. Four of Discs. So Four of Discs is opening up. Okay, let's get the rest of the cards out. Again, another four. So the fours are all about feeling secure and feeling you know where you are in life. Okay, but with the Four of Discs being in reverse and the Four of Swords being in the upright, so this is healing this. So it's healing this inability to actually open up and understand what it is that you're here to heal, is what they're giving me. And one more card, please. One more card. We have the Knight of Wands. Will that come out on its side? Okay. So the Knight of Wands, he's very passionate, but what he does is he can be, it's on its side here. So he's very in and out when he's on the side, you know, he's sort of like wishy-washy. And I feel like with this coming out for you with these two fours, it's telling me that there's no stability with you in regards to your wealth, your abundance. It's like you feel like it's going to come in, but as soon as it comes in, it's going to just go out as quickly. So I want to clarify the forgiveness card for you, just to help you understand what's going on with that. So clarify that forgiveness card for me, please. Queen of Cups in reverse. So she's not feeling very stable emotionally. The Queen of Cups in reverse. And why is that? The Hermit. So the Hermit is someone who spends a lot of time on their own. So again, I feel like they're giving me that with the Queen of Cups being in reverse, there is like a longing for being able to be independent. The Hermit, he knows what to do. The Hermit can come out as a guide as well when we're reading about guides. And you see the way he's shining a light on something there. So he's highlighting his own, what he feels to be his own failings or his own inadequacies, his own ability to handle his emotions, which is the forgiveness. And then with the Two of Cups being in reverse, that is the relationships. They're not really working out because there does need to be some forgiveness in regards to I feel who I'm reading for and in reference to another person. So I just want to get one more of these and we'll just finish it off. The Devil. So that's the fear. Okay. So that's the fear that whoever this is for, the fear that if you do start to act independently, okay, and open up about the way you've been feeling, I feel like there's a lot of insecurity here. You feel like it's going to be something that is just going to make you feel like you've shown your vulnerabilities and now you feel weak. But this card is telling me, no, the bottom of the deck, this is your key. This is your key to freedom because we have the Wheel of Fortune here. And what it's going to do, it's going to mean you're going to be able to collaborate with other people with that Three of Discs. That means you're going to feel more secure within yourself and being able to share because the two things mirror each other. So if you're feeling codependent and someone is given to you all the time, there is no equality there. There's no equal give and take. It's a one-way street. So they're telling you, the Three of Discs, you will be able to feel more balanced. And with the Four of Cups there, another four. Look at that. 3 4s. Okay. So with Four of Cups, she's not really paying attention to that. Okay. But it's when she does pay attention to it, that's when the change is going to happen with the death card there. That's when she's going to be able to move into her own power. But all she has to do is forgive herself for feeling codependent and feeling that she's perhaps asked too much of others. And we're just going to clarify that for you again, because I can just feel them saying to me here, pull a card, just to let them know exactly and understand what it is. Okay, these two here. Yeah, there you go. The 10 of discs, that is your abundance. That is, 10 of discs is wealth, it's inheritance, it's everything you want in life. The pentacles are all about your money and your security and, your family life. And the King of Swords, he vocalizes it. He puts it into action. He's very analytical. So that's your validation. And there's the Devil at the bottom of the deck. So that's the fear that you have. The fear of change. Okay. The fear about your abundance. That if you step out and, forgive yourself for being dependent on other people, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the spirit likes us to be independent and self-empowered. And we come into this world on our own. We'll go on our own. And this is just a lesson that has come up for you, pile one. So I hope that makes sense. We're now going to move on to pile two. So we'll just set these cards aside. Give that one another shuffle. That's my tarot deck. And let's move on to pile two. Okay, so what past life are you learning the lessons from pile two? Vows. This can be oaths. Sometimes people take poverty vows or vows of silence, to be quiet, or vows to be celibate, vows, all different types of vows. And now this is what am I learning right now from this? Priorities. You're learning how to prioritize your life, the building blocks of life, how to structure your life. Okay, and let's ask about the sacred woundings here and see what shifts you will experience soon, what you're shifting from the mother wound. So you may have had a vow to be quite subservient, and the mother wound, our mothers, they form the strongest relationship that we ever have in our lives. And if even if you're adopted, the person who represents the mother, it's the same thing. It's the closest bond you're ever going to have in a lifetime, the main caregiver. So I feel like, and even in that card, that looks like a mother and a daughter. So I feel like this vow for you, pile two, is about overcoming the mother wound. And we'll see which one goes with that. Imposter syndrome. That makes sense to me, because when a mother has so much influence on you and you've taken a vow, to be subservient and to allow the mother to be a dominant factor rather than, a nurturing balance factor, you don't understand who you are, and you think that you're an imposter because you don't understand yourself. So the healing here is, when I go into your soul direction reading, is we are going to look at where you are in your life. So these are all the chakras. And, do you feel secure? Do you feel happy? Do you feel your heart is healed? Do you feel you're being listened to? You're being heard? Do you feel you can trust your own intuition? Do you feel you're connected to the divine? All of these things we will look into, and we look back and see how far along you are on the path and what needs to be cleared up, or what you're stepping into. So I'm going to ask the tarot to break that down for you. Pile 2, to give you an idea so you can understand yourself around this mother wound. Interesting, the Empress in reverse. She is codependent. She's not in her power. So the Empress is the card of the mother. You can't make it up. But she's in reverse here. So she's not fully in her power. She's not feeling fertile. She's not feeling creative. And why? Because she feels like an imposter. She's never been given that sense of self because the mother relationship has always been so strong. Okay. Page of Cups in reverse. So the Page of Cups in reverse isn't connected to his own intuition. And he's like a child. He's quite immature. He or she, there's no gender in tarot. But with the Page of Cups being in reverse, it tells me that you have no direction. You're just winging it basically along in life, because of the mother wound. Okay. But what it is that you are learning right now is how to prioritize all these things that you've learned from the mother wound. And what I do in your soul direction reading is see where you are along that pathway, okay, and see how far you have come, and see what we can do and go in and give you the healing and the downloads, and see what belief systems you're at in regards to these wounds. The Page of Swords in reverse. So there's 2 pages here. So these are the youngest characters in the deck. And the Page of Swords hasn't really learnt. So I feel like a lot of times these readings are just like a switch that needs to be turned on. And the feedback I'm getting is, I never really looked at it that way. I completely understand what's happening. I understand myself now. And it's just simple as understanding yourself. That's where the healing comes from. Okay? It's just simply understanding your soul, understanding your life, understanding the lessons of why you're here. Okay? So I hope that helps you, pile 2. We're now going to move on to pile 3. Let's move these ones out of the way. Okay, pile 3. So let's see the lifetimes, or the lifetime that you have learned lessons from that's coming up in this lifetime. Love life. So this is relationship. Okay. And let's see what you are learning right now. How to be happy, joy and happiness. Okay. And let's look at the sacred woundings and see what shifts that you will experience soon, or the shifts that are causing you to experience these lessons. Okay. Humiliation wound and sensitivity overload. Okay. So immediately what comes to mind is someone in a narcissistic relationship who has never been able to understand themselves for being like a actual sensitive and empathic person, in other words, is what they're giving me. With the humiliation wound and the sensitivity overload, I mean, it's just saying like you're easily triggered. But in actual fact, you're not easily triggered, because if you're in a narcissistic relationship or a relationship, you're being understood. You're being told all the time, oh, you're too sensitive. And that person will essentially humiliate you because it's not the truth of who you are. And you lose your sense of self. So in order to be happy, this is about relationship. It's about how you understand yourself. through your relationships, essentially the relationship of a partner. So because this one is about relationships, I'm going to pull from my relationship deck, pile 3, and see what more they give us about this for you. So we won't use the tarot, we'll use the relationship deck here. Toxic behavior, control, manipulation, obsession. That's the puppet master. That's the card of the narcissist. Okay. So, I mean, you can't make it up, can you? Okay. So this is about working on it and planning. So this is where you're at now. That's why you've come to me. That's why you want a soul direction reading. You want to look at why you've had to learn these lessons. The reason why we've had to learn these lessons is we made the decision before we came here to do this for our soul, and also to heal for our own family, down the family line. Because if you break the chain, the lesson won't be passed on to your children and your children's children. So we're going to help you to plan and work on it, and just to see how far you've come. And perhaps when we look into it, you have worked on this, and you're ready to look into what's next. Because when I do these soul direction readings, I meet you in your purpose. I meet you where you're at. I don't meet you in your pain. So I like to concentrate on the positive, but I do this so that I can understand what you've come through or where you're still at. But we do focus on the positive, on where your purpose is and where your happiness is. And finally, full moon, end of the cycle, revelations. So it's understandings, like what I said earlier on. So the full moon is letting go. So this is about the healing that we'll do together. And it will reveal, once you've received, what I do is I give belief system downloads, theta healing, and my own modality as well. And I'm able to understand your energy and clear out what doesn't serve you, and give you the downloads directly from the divine about the truth of who you are and the belief systems that need to go. And we clear them out and we finalize them from the source point of where they came. And that could be through past lifetimes, present lifetimes, or anywhere in between. So that's yours. Bottom of the deck, we have time to celebrate. So that's always the case once you've gone through one of these sessions. There's a lot of lightness, there's a lot of joy, there's like a new window of opportunity open up. And I have the joy card there, which just was shouting out at me there to point out again with that lovely yellow. So that's your reading, pile 3. If you're interested in getting one of these soul direction readings from me, I will list them down below. They're on my website, silvervioletflame.com. And any questions, just email me and I'm happy to answer anything if you're not too sure about what you're getting, or, anything at all. So thanks so much for listening, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.